Hi, welcome back. I hope you had a really good day today. Last night I stopped the story right in the middle, didn't I? Because it was at a point where Gideon had asked a sign from God. He asked him if he put a piece of wool out at night. If the wool was wet in the morning and everything else was dry, he would take it as a sign from God. And then he went to bed. So that's where we stopped. I want to tell you what happened when he woke up in the morning. Anybody got any guesses? Think about that one, maybe. So, the next morning, when Gideon got up, the ground was dry. And the wool was wet. Gideon, in fact, wrung a whole bowl of water from the wool. And God had given him the sign, just like he had asked. See, there he is, wringing the water out like you might wring the water out of a washcloth or out of a sponge or out of the dish rag. But there was so much of it there that it filled an entire bowl. That's how serious it was. And so he began to think, well, maybe God is right. Maybe I can do the things that God is asking. But then he started getting second thoughts about it and started questioning himself again. People do that. Sometimes they're really sure about something, but then they're so used to something that they just start scratching their heads and say, I can't. No. I made a mistake. I'm wrong about that. But they call that second guessing. People say I should have done something. I shouldn't have done something. Maybe I heard that wrong. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to trust what you see and what you hear. Well, let me go on and finish this. Later on, even though God had given Gideon a sign, Gideon was still not sure. He said to God, please don't be angry. If I'm the one to save your people, show me another sign. This time, I'll leave the wool on the ground again. And when I get up in the morning, if the wool is dry and the ground is wet, I'll know it's you. So he went to bed. And I'm going to keep reading this time. I'm not going to leave you guys hang till tomorrow on this one, okay? But what do you think happened? Well, God made all those things happen just as Gideon had asked. That doesn't work all the time, but sometimes it's pretty clear. And Gideon did what God was asking of him. And it was a big assignment. Gideon put together a big army to fight the Midianites. And that's when God talked to him again. And God told him, Gideon, the army is too big. What? God had asked him to put an army together. And he got a big one. But God said, no, I don't need a big army. I just need an army. All right? He said, I want people to be sure that I made this victory possible. First, I want you to send home any men who are afraid. And Gideon obeyed. Everybody gets afraid sometimes. Then God said, send the remaining men to get a drink of water. And you must separate those who lap water with their tongues like dogs from those who use their hands to drink. I like this picture. See, there's one man who's going, just like my dogs do from their bowls. And then the other man's using his hands. He takes his hands and he cups his hands and goes, and he took the water up to his mouth. And here's Gideon in the background, watching both of them doing that and saying, let me keep track of who's doing what. Gideon did as he was told. God chose the 300 men who lapped the water to fight the Midianites. The people that went they're the ones that he asked to do the fighting. Then God told Gideon, now I'll tell you the rest of the plan. That's where I'm going to stop for today. Because the rest of the plan is kind of what they call intricate, fancy, and it's got some details in it. And you have to put the whole thing together like a jigsaw puzzle. And it happened at night. And it's night now. So it's time to go to sleep. Sleep well, everybody. Good night.